All right, says we're live. Just want to welcome everybody to the ScrappyDew show here. I'm Rob, of course, and I'm joined by three other guests. And one's a special guest. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves, who they are, where they're from, where you can find them, and stuff. So we're gonna start off with Michelle. So go ahead, Michelle, introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Michelle. I'm design team leader for ScrappyDew. Some of you know me from the ScrappyDew Facebook page as well, and I also help out with customer support. And you can find my blog at michellemybellcreations.com.
All right. Next on the list here is Ken. I guess he has a new website, actual address, same blog, but new address, right?
Well, yeah, a lot of my friends on the Facebook pages and blogs said once you become a big boy blog, you need to actually you gotta get rid of the blog spot, I guess. So I don't consider myself a big boy blog, but I guess it is a lot easier not to have to type the blogspot.com. We live in a society where they want easy. So my website's just now www.creativeken.com. You can still get there by going creativeken.blogspot.com. They both go to the same spot. So I would love it if you followed my blog and took a look at it.
All right. And our last guest here is going to be Julie. So go ahead and introduce yourself, Julie.
I'm Julie Flanagan. I'm known as Crafty Musician, and or Julie FES. That's Flanagan Educational Services. And I have MTC Toots, and on my Toots group, I have some reviews of different cutters. So if you want information on some of those, you can go to MTC_Toots, search for the Yahoo group.
Yes, and we posted that stuff in the description box on the side here. Maybe it's this side or this side. Wherever you're watching this, we got the description in there, and you can find Julie's groups. She's very helpful in explaining things and helping out others. So a little bit about this, if you guys are new, of course. Come to the event page. If you're on the YouTube page, we can track comments and stuff. Keep in mind that there is about a 30 to 60 second delay between what we're talking about and what you guys are actually seeing. Okay, so if you type in a question and you're like, why isn't he answering my question? Well, it's because we haven't, we received it, but there's a delay. So just understand that there's a delay. Now, if you would like to be notified when we have these live hangouts, and what topics are going to be covered, make sure you go to scrappydew.com/live, and then you can sign up for the newsletter. We'll send out a newsletter maybe a day or two prior to the event with the links, and then we'll send you a quick maybe 20, 15-minute reminder letting you know, hey, we're getting ready to go live. Okay, so that's how you guys can stay in the know. All right, so today's topic is going to be the eClips2. Is that right, Julie?
Yes.
All right, eClips2, and we got some, last time she reviewed the Cricut with us, about 2 months ago it was, the new Cricut Explore, so now she's going to be doing the eClips2 and as well as the software, and we'll let her go ahead and share her screen. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to post them below. Like I said, we are tracking them, okay? And we'll interrupt Julie anytime if we do see a question. So go ahead, Julie. You have the floor.
Do you see my screen?
We do see your screen.
Okay. This is the original Eclipse that I got when not when they first came out. When they first came out, they were about $499. I really wanted one, but I couldn't afford that much. So I waited for a while, and pretty soon the prices came down. And then they phased out this particular model, mostly because I think they figured out that this controller wasn't really all that necessary. What it allows you to do is use cartridges without a computer. I never really used it that way. I only used the machine. So they came out with, let's see if I can figure out how to get the next picture. This is the eClips2. Now basically it doesn't have, oh no, I don't know how to make this work.
You may want to use your arrows on the keyboard.
Yeah, maybe. Well, they came out with a new eClips, and the new eClips has an LED screen over here. I think pointing is what got me messed up. and they took off the controller, so the eClips2 you have to use with computer. Oh, I think I'm on slideshow, that's why. So we no longer have the controller, but we have software. Now the eClips2 comes with the eCal2 software Lite. Now the Lite version has doesn't have all the features that the full version does, and I'll talk about in a minute. But one thing that we see with the eClips, some of the strengths are that they can cut, score, or draw all in one pass, but it's not like the Explore where you have two functions at one time. It just does, you switch out the machine, and the score is different. This is the blade, and I like this blade.
Hey, Julie, I think you can hit the escape button and you can exit the slideshow if you wish. And
okay, it was smaller, but you can see it.
You can maximize it or whatever.
I'll talk about this. You think maximize will help? Okay.
And then you got the zoom tool over there at the.
Yeah. I used to see it.
Glass.
I don't see a magnifying glass. But anyway, this is the blade holder, and I like it because it has a straight barrel, and it will fit in my Zing. It works really well with the Zing, and the Zing blade holder is a real pain because it doesn't have this click style settings at the top, and this you just push the plunger to get the blade to insert or take it out, clean it out, so it's real easy to use. And in this machine, it comes with kind of an odd-sized blade. It doesn't have a long point, so when I'm doing extra thick things, I like to use a Pazel's blade in this Sizzix blade holder. Now I know that Sizzix doesn't recommend that, but Pazel's blades, as well as Cricut blades and the Cricut Explore blade, deep cut blade, their German carbide blade, those all fit in here. So you have to adjust the depth settings to accommodate how long the blade tip is. But I like this because it's flexible and it allows you to use different the roll-in blades if you get a bunch of inexpensive ones. It's a really good option. Now the eClips cuts at now I don't know how to get to the next page. I think my controls are hidden.
Yeah, there's you can use
Okay.
you can use your arrows on your keyboard.
Yeah, I'll use arrows. There's also a pen holder, which is really kind of high tech. It holds your pens in the center, and it's all metal, and it has several different inserts to accommodate different size pens, from very thin to fat. So this is really nice. It fits right where the blade holder goes, and you can draw. Now the way this machine does scoring in the cutting panel, you can choose certain lines to be scored, and instead of doing dashes, it lightens the pressure to do the scoring, so it just scratches the surface of the card to make it easier to fold, and that's kind of nice if you don't like the dashed scoring lines. This is the mat, and you'll notice it has curved edges, so if you want to use other mats from other companies, you kind of have to curve the corners because the machine needs to have those corners curved. But I have used other companies' mats in the machine, and I've used eClips mats in other machines too. It cuts, the machine cuts only up to 11.8 inches wide, so if you need to cut a full 12 inches, this machine might not be for you. They also have a 24-inch mat, which allows you to cut the length of 23 3/4 inches long. So you can cut 11.8 inches wide and 23 3/4 inches long using the mat. The machine doesn't like to cut vinyl without a mat, so if you're cutting vinyl, you want to use a mat. There's a toolkit you can get if you don't already have a toolkit. This one's pretty nice. It has scissors in it, which most of the cutter kits don't have, and it has that nice metal ruler with millimeters on it, which I find sometimes I need. The bag does not have wheels or a telescoping handle, so I don't like it so much. I would prefer maybe the Sizzix, the Silhouette bag. It has wheels and handle. I can't carry heavy stuff anymore, so this one just gets full of supplies for when I need to take them somewhere. There's some special deals on right now for the eClips machine. If you get the machine with the $269 special offer, it comes with eCal Lite software. If you get the full version of the eCal software, it's $299.99. Now, when I bought my Sizzix eClips, the software was extra. So this is a good bundle offer if you're interested in it. I don't recommend getting the Lite software for some important reasons. It has a lot of good features, but it's missing some very important features. It does not import SVG files, PDF, EPS, or WPC like the full version does. So if you need to import SVG files, let's say from Silhouette, or if you need to import WPC files from Puzzles, or if you want to, like I do my work and make the cut because I'm comfortable with it. And when I am finished with my work, I select all and export as SVG. So if I want to cut to my eClips, I need to be able to import as SVG. eClips software does have a store that you can buy images from, but I don't recommend the Lite software because not only can you not import these other files to the Lite software, you also cannot auto trace images. You don't get the rhinestone templates or the lattices, but you also cannot cut around printed objects. And these are all really important features. I think you will be sad if you get only the Lite software. It's very well worth getting the full software. Do you have any questions about that so far?
None from the audience, but I sort of had one back when you were talking about the mat. What was the reasoning for the curved mat? You said that we'd have to have a curved mat in order to fit it in the machine, or?
When you put it in the machine, it auto-loads, so it has a nice, easy, you push a button on the front of the machine and it will auto-load the mat. But it's looking for those curves to line it up.
Oh.
And it lines the mat up right in the correct corner every time, and it starts cutting at the upper left right up here. They want you to put your paper so the paper corner is right there, and my power is flickering, so just warning you. So yeah, it's got curved edges. It's the only cutter I have that the mat has, rounded corners.
Okay.
So there's some new things in version 2. The eCal2 software was just released December 3rd, and there are some new things in the software that make it much more appealing. Pretty much, I think Sure Cuts a Lot 4 and eCal version 2 have added a lot of features to make it catch up with what Make the Cut has been doing for a couple years. But there's also some additional features that I haven't seen in other software too, so if I have time, I'll show you some of these things. They have, there's some new tools: freehand draw, brush tool, erase, knife, stencil tool, typing on an arch, and a number of really nice effects. I think I'm going to use these, and I don't have these effects in other software. There's some stroke and fill options. You can do several lines of text and justify it, snap to objects, and rotate a duplicate. So some of these are very important features. It also looks different if you've looked at the eCal original software. You saw a little bit different screen here. On this side, these are all of the editing tools which have been updated. There were only half as many before this new version came out. And then on the right side, there are some new quick handles to open different windows. So we'll look at some of these a little bit closer. This is the original edit toolbar, which didn't have many options. It had the selection and an edit, text, a pen tool, and the zoom and the move handles. But now that toolbar has all of these different options. This second one here is kind of interesting. I have that in some other software, but not very many software has it. This is a lasso selection, so you can actually, if you've got something in the middle of the screen you want to grab, you can drag a line around it and select it. Oh, maybe I'll show you some of these different features. So these are the new edit tools. And then on the right-hand side, these allow you to select your page type and your size, some different fill options, and text options, tools. Down here, they do have a pretty good manual to go with the software. If you click on the question, you can access that, or you can go to the help menu, which gives you the full instructions. This was kind of some of the things that I was really fascinated by. They've got now a 3D rotate and a bulge that kind of allows you to stretch your text or your shape into different curves, which I've been wishing that I had. This canned effect makes it as if you were stretching text around a can. The lattice is not new, and they have a new puzzle generator. The rhinestone's not new, and either is a shadow. And they have some fun text features to make it sort of crawl. And this one I really like, the wave. You can make a shape or even text kind of go in a wavy shape. On this wrapper, you can take any text or shape or design and transform it instantly into a curve that will go on a cupcake wrapper, which is something we've had available in Make the Cut for a long time, but now we have it in Sure Cuts a Lot and also the eCal. This is a really nice feature, the rotated duplicate. If you take, let's say, this first shape here, and all you have to do is tell how many copies you want, and you can select rotate evenly, and it will evenly distribute all the copies in around the center, or you can take a offset, but that's a nice, easy thing to do. This is kind of the type on Arch, and I was really surprised. I'm used to doing a just taking text and having it trace go around a path or a circle in order to arch it, but this software does it differently. You just place your cursor on the mat, you type your text, and then you can arch it to any size diameter that you want. And so that's this. Now I got to figure out how to get rid of that screen. Okay. I have, I think before you saw some of my print and cut comparisons with some of the different cutters. Now eClips has a laser registration, and This was about as best as I could get on the print to cut. They call it print to cut. And I think you'll see that I probably didn't get it calibrated perfectly, but I'll tell you, using laser registration with any color cutter strains my eyes really bad. So this is about as good as I got in 3 or 4 attempts, and I gave up. So I probably will not be using this cutter to do print to cut. However, it does allow you to do print to cuts in a much larger size than you could do with the Explore or even the Silhouette Cameo. And with the Pazel's View, we're limited to the 8.5 by 11 that I did here. But with the eClips, we could do a print to cut using as big a paper as we can print on, probably about 11 inches wide. If I use any of these machines for print and cut, I'm going to most likely add a bleed, and a bleed would take care of that little white part. And you'll know notice in the Cricut Explore that the default is to add a bleed, and we can add bleeds in with all these machines, and I think we will be much happier with the results with a bleed. But this was with absolutely no bleed, and it's not bad, but it's not perfect either. Any questions so far?
So, someone made a comment over here, and they said that eCal2 will also read all extra glyphs in the OTF fonts, such as Samantha, I heard.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
So let me show you that. I'm going to go onto the software here and show you some of those new features. And that was an important question. So in order to get to that, I think I have to click on the A here, and then I will go to select. I'll just type S to get my Samantha. Oops, I'm going to type on the right computer here. I'll go down to Samantha, and in order to look at the fonts, you go to the library and you click on fonts. And I got Samantha up here, but I guess I have to go down to Samantha on this one too.
Yeah, you have to scroll down and go to that one as well.
So it's selected.
Yeah, it highlights it.
Now, I'm going to go, I checked this earlier today because Kay asked me, did it work? So I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, because those are the special characters that people are having difficulty getting. And I checked this with other software that I know, where I'm viewing all of the images. So this is the very bottom of all of the private section, and it has all of the decorative glyphs, all the words, all the pretty little flourishes that come with it. This font comes with 2,700 different glyphs, and most software only allows you to see the main characters that are at the top of the screen, but you'll notice that we have all 2,700 of them available in here. So if you find a particular shape that you want, you double click and it comes in on the screen there. You could also type your regular characters in on the screen. So if they have a interesting little triangle here, if it pops out, so you hover over the T, hold it down, and then you can use the type tool straight on your mat. So if I want to say, let's see, Merry Christmas, I'm getting the Samantha font typed right on my screen with the regular characters. But if I want some of these additional extra glyphs, then I can go over here to the library and select any of the flourishes that I want to use to fancy up that title. I can add these nice little special characters. If I have a S I can go to the lowercase s's, and they're all alphabetically. The special, like if you wanted a special B, they have all the B's together, so you can go in order. But anyway, it took me a while to find this feature, but I don't use shortcuts a lot. Only time I use eCal is when I want to use the eClips cutter. Now the eClips cutter cuts, it cuts up to 700 grams of pressure, which is pretty excellent compared to most inexpensive home cutters. I did a comparison today on the Explore, and I found that the eClips cuts through, let's say, chipboard 0.22 inch thick chipboard in a single pass if you use a Pazel's blade. And the Cricut took me 2 passes to cut the Cricut Explore. So it does have a good cutting pressure. It does have a limitation, though, in that it only accepts media that's 1.5 millimeters thick, or a 1/16 of an inch thick. No, 1 millimeter, whereas a Cricut Explore accepts 1.5. So even though it has extra cutting pressure, it has a limitation of 1 millimeter thick that will fit under the rollers. So that was a little disappointing when I first got my machine. I don't have the eClips2, so I'm not sure if they changed that, but I wrote to them asking and they didn't respond. So I don't know if they didn't have time to answer my multitude of questions or if they were short-staffed. But it is a good machine. I don't like the 11.8 inches width limitation, so I often like to cut the full 12 inches wide. So those are some of the questions that I had today that I checked on. So I thought maybe I'd show you some of the neat little features here. These are the editing tools, and again, you hover over a shape if it has a triangle, and then you can select what you want. So I think I'll add a rectangle here, and to select it, you can just click on the selection tool, and I've got it selected. I can do a lot of different things with that rectangle. Then, for example, this is the lasso tool. If I had a lot of different things on here and I wanted just to select a little part of it, I just drag around it, and then when I click the selection tool, it selects what I use the lasso tool for. Something that the new features are, it used to be we only had a pen, but now we have a freehand draw, and if you want to draw using your graphics tablet, you can actually freehand draw there. Now I'm no good at drawing, but you also have a smoothing tool that you can make your drawing a little less obnoxious. Let's see if I keep forgetting I'm using a different computer. Okay, so if I smooth it out a lot and then I draw, it's a little less jagged. So the more that you increase the smoothing, the less jagged it is. Well, if you wanted to draw a fatter shape, you would want to use the new tool, which is the brush tool, and it allows you to select the size, the thickness of the brush, so you can brush really fat inches, or you can draw really thin. So those are new options that they didn't have in the software before. The other thing that they have is an eraser tool. I was wanting that this week really bad, and then the next day, here it was. If I can erase with either a circle or a square, and I can change the size to as big as I want. All I have to do is click and drag, and it erases. And then they have this, this stencil bridge. So if I want to take, I'll just do a simple Arial font so you can see the what a stencil bridge might do. I'll just type on here. I'll do capital letters so you can see. You can type directly on the screen, and then you can change the alignment. You didn't used to be able to do that, I guess. And you can also add the coloring. Right now there's no fill, so I click on that color palette, paint palette, and I can choose a color. So I'll just, maybe I should choose a nice, pretty, you click on this to get different color options. I'll make it red. And then let's kind of zoom in. If you click on the zoom tool, you have options. You can zoom to the page, or you can drag around it and get it big. So if I want to make a stencil out of this, in Make the Cut we use the one tool, the eraser, will do a stencil or freehand, but on this we have 3 different tools to do the same thing. The stencil bridge does a straight line. It erases a straight line through so that you can make stencils. And you can again adjust the size of your stencil, but this allows you to, if you wanted to do etching on something, you can make all the centers open so that you can actually not lose them when you're trying to maybe put a stencil on a glass and then etch part of it. So those are some nice new options. They have on the another one of the new options. I have to get back here to the full page. On this, we have a new option to do gradient fills. So if I select this and do a gradient, I can click on that square and it'll allow me to say, well, do I want the white here and the black here? You can kind of determine, if you look here in this window on the right, you can see the settings where they change the position. You can also change it from a linear gradient to a radial gradient, and then you see the difference here. So that's kind of fun if you want to do some print and cut things. I don't normally do a lot of that, but the option is there if you need it. And pretty much that's most of the new. Oh, they have a ruler here. If you wanted to measure how big this is, you click the ruler and just drag from top to bottom, and you'll see at the top of the window the angle and also the distance. So this box is 2.41 inches. So if you need to measure 2.46, if you need to measure anything, there's a measuring tool. The fun things I think that are fun, I'm going to enjoy playing with, are the effects. If you click the effects menu at the top of the screen, you get a 3D rotate. If you click the auto preview, you can see what it does when you move things. So let's say we have a perspective. We can change the perspective by just playing with the perspective bar, the Z plane, Y, and the X. So if you're looking for a particular shape, this is one way you can do it. So I'll cancel out of that and just show you a few of these. The barrel distortion you can adjust with the threshold using the arrows here, just gradually. If there's a particular shape that you want, you can get nice quick curves in here. Would be good. If I want to do the same thing with text, which I sometimes would like to do. I can take this Merry Christmas, for example, and go to Effects and Barrel Distortion and get some nice curves on this text. It's kind of interesting effect. You can go up or down, change it to look like it's going around a barrel, in or out. So that's kind of fun. Then let's see, Bulge. Bulge allows you to distort top or bottom separately or together. Now this is what I was wishing I had. I'm going to do opposite directions. So when I do the top offset to curve it, I also get the bottom offset at the same time. If I wanted to do together, I'll cancel this and do the bulge separately. I can change the top to go up and leave the bottom the same, or I could change the bottom to also go up or down or up, I should say. Or if you do together, you can get them to move in or out together like that. Lots of potential here we have a lot of interest these days in putting text inside a shape, and a curved shape like Christmas ornaments. Every year this time of year we get people wanting to curve shapes, and this gives you some options here. We have canned, as if it were going around the can, so you can change the angle of the can, but also the diameter of the can, bigger or smaller. There's, oops, I do cancel here. Line fill is a new one. If you want to fill in your shape or your text with lines, you can select the spacing and do a preview. Well, that's kind of spacing that, changes. If you do a close spacing, let's do it on this little shape here. Oops, not very good at these zoom tools. So I have this rectangle here, and I want to draw it with a pen and fill it. Then I could select a line and give it really close spacing, let's say 0.1, and preview. You see that I have all these lines. It depends on how thick your pen is, and it'll actually fill in that shape for you, or the text. Excuse me, I'll get a drink here. Okay, and the next one that we have, if you've ever tried to use a piercing tool to do a pergamano design, you might enjoy doing this. Got to select it first. Effects and piercing, where you have a pounce tool, and you can assign spacing and do a preview, and you see everywhere where there's a little X is where the needle would make a hole.
Hey, Julie, we got a question here. Back to the bulge. It says right here, it says, would the bulge work for making vinyl fit correctly on a Christmas ball or a cup?
I think it would. Let's go to the bulge here, because you have an option to curve upwards and downwards. So first of all, I think I would probably want to do a circle instead of a rectangle. So I can get that option here and just drag a circle. I think I don't have a line color or something there. I wonder what happened. It didn't draw my circle. Oh, there it is. Okay, so that's weird. I would have to play with it to see if I could get that text to fit the curve, which I haven't played with yet. But first thing I'd want to do is make sure that my text is the width that I needed. And I don't know what I'm doing wrong here, because I don't remember having this issue. If I go to Bulge, I've got my text in gray here, and I think I'm going to do opposite, and I will create my text curve here, and maybe I need to change it has a right and left, so I'll do these also to opposite, left and right offset. So do you see, if you use your options here, I think you could get this to fit. And then we say OK. And I think if I move my Christmas ball around a little bit, this is just, a real quick kind of thing, but I think you could manage to do that. And I don't have any other software that will do that well of a job for me. So, yeah, I think you could play with the sizing.
Lori says here, she says you'd use a wrapper function for a cup. Would that work?
There is a wrapper function here, and you could do the top half and then the bottom half. Let's just undo that. I think these new effects features have a lot of potential for doing that kind of thing. We have wrapper here, and so if we want to have the center would be, we want to do maybe the Mary with one wrapper going one way and then flipping it and doing it the other way. I haven't played with this a lot, but on the wrapper you would give it the top diameter and the bottom diameter and the slant height. So this length here, or around the diameter of your cup, let's say, and at the top, and the diameter of your cup at the bottom here, and then measure from bottom to top. That you put those measurements in here, so it would change depending on what your measurements were. And yes, you could wrap your text that way, but I think the bulge would be a more appropriate. Actually, I would get a better, smoother curve, and I'd have more with all the different options here. I think I'd have a easier time warping it to a shape. Now you can kind of play with it. The other option, the other thing that they have here, I'll show you that. I'd have to play with it more to work with the we have in Make the Cut, we have conical warp, which would do half of the Christmas ball, for example, and then do the other half with the, and do it two parts, but we don't have anything to do top and bottom. But I think the bulge effect really would be the nice way to do that. The other thing that we have, let's see.
Well, back to the stitch question, or I guess there's a stitch question here. She said, "Is there an option for a stitch effect around a shape?"
Let's see. I think there probably is. Those are new line effects. So let's say we had this box and we wanted to. We probably would want to do first a shadow layer. So we can add a shadow layer. And then we could make the original one the stitch lines. So let's look at the stroke options. We have on the stroke we have pen color as well as fill color. And the line style is where we select those. So you could, let's say you wanted to do stitching like this. And if you wanted the color of the line style, stroke color, let's say you wanted it to be white. That should make it white, but maybe I didn't have it selected. Okay, stroke color white. So now I've got white stitching on there. It's pretty nice. So anything else on that? Now we have a, yes.
Oh, you can also edit your stitching too, with the gaps and the spaces.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to that line style. Again, I'll select it. You have to select something before you can edit it. But I have a line style here, and this allows me to change the gap. Let's say I want more of a gap. I can stretch out those. So if I wanted it to look a little better, a little more gap, I could do that. Or if I wanted the stitches to be longer, again, I have to select it and go to edit and then say I want the dash to be maybe shorter. Well, I like long dashes. Maybe I would like a 15 dash and a gap of 15. I wonder what that would look like. I'm an experimenter. Oh, I like that look. So you can edit your line style as you like.
Handmade Card, she also has a follow-up question. She said, well, first of all, she said, that's exactly what I wanted. Thank you, Julie. She said, will it cut or will it draw? So how would you change it to letting the machine know that, hey, this is a draw line instead of a cut line?
Let's see, line style. We have line style, and I think when you go to the wrench, you designate what the line is. If it's cut, you select cut. On this one, it's going to be draw. If you want it to score, it will lighten the pressure so it just traces lightly on it with the blade. So if you wanted to draw with a pen, you would select that line for the pen. And then it would tell you to put the pen in when you're ready to cut. Then when you select the other line, your other line, you designate it as cut. So whatever you designate the line for, when you select it, it'll tell you what type of line it is. Okay, any other questions on those?
I'm not seeing any at the moment, but we're still tracking. So, like, if any of you guys have any questions, feel free to post them down below. We will track them, get Julie here to answer them for us.
A nice wave function. If you want to get a wavy line, let's say for a border or something, you can select your line, tell it how many times you want to wave. That's the number of cycles here, and then the amplitude, how high or low that wave goes. Great option to do some rickrack or some different effects for borders. Really, I like these functions here. Let's see, there was another, oops. Another effect here. Wrapper, title crawl. If you want the title, I think this kind of duplicates maybe some of the other things, but if you want your title to appear like it's moving away from you or moving forward, and you can change the height of the, well, just ways to play with your text. If you go too far, you end up with nothing here, but lots of fun ways to manipulate things. And see, this is probably what you could use for putting your text on the Christmas ball, because you want it small at the top, bigger in the middle, and then you could put something else on the bottom and make it fit. So that's a kind of another fun way to change a perspective. Let's see what else we have. I think there was another thing I wanted to show you here. We have text, view, oh, maybe object, path. There's a puzzle generator that you can use to generate puzzles, kind of like Make the Cut does. And so any other questions about this machine? Did you put my link up for where they can order the special deal?
We put the link that you gave Michelle. I don't know if she's posted. I don't know if you have another one for her to post, but it is in the description box.
I just have the one that I sent her for the link to the eClips2. They have new snaps options. Oh, rotated. That's what I wanted to do. Rotated. So let's say that I come back down to this. Got to get my snap to the page here, or zoom to the page. Let's look at this object again. If I change this to be really thin, and I wanted to create a, let's say I wanted to do a snowflake, I can select this and go to Object, Duplicate, Rotated. If I wanted to do a snowflake that has 6 pieces, I just have to type in 3, and it evenly distributes. So when I go to even number, it doesn't do much, but odd numbers can just automatically generate more and more, all evenly distributed. I think that's a pretty handy thing. You can see myself using that. And you can rotate at an offset if you want. I'm a symmetrical kind of person, so those are the main new things that we have in the software. These tools over here just allow you to open up different toolbars. If you double click on them, they will stay open, and there's these little bars in between. Now this is a new feature, so I can open all of these different tools so that they're all open. If I want to close one up, I just double click on the little bar there, and it closes them. Kind of fun. These icons stay there so that you can work with them better. But now, any other questions before I go? It's time for me to leave, so they have to be fast.
All right, I'm not seeing any. Handmade cards just said perfect. Back to the stitching work. She said I want to mimic Lawn Fawn's stitch dies. I think that may be a way to do it. And no more questions. Before you go, Julie, have you had a chance to try out any of the apps at all? As far as I know, they have them for Android and iPad.
Oh, they have an app for Shortcuts a lot now. They have a Mac version and they have a Windows version. And on the apps, I haven't tried them yet. I have an Android. I don't have an iPad, but they're only $10 for the app. Now they don't have the app for the eClips yet. However, these the eCal2 and the eClips2 basically would do the same thing. I don't know if they have the Bluetooth yet out for the eClips2 machine, but I don't have that anyway. But the app would help in that I could work on my Android. Even if I use the eCal2 app, it's only $10. I can save it as a SCUT4 file that will open with eCal2. So I could design in it even though they don't have the eCal app ready yet, but they will have it. So I think I'm going to wait until the eCal app is ready and just get that, since I have this machine. The Sure Cuts a Lot app would work with the other machines as well. And the other thing that I forgot to mention is that that there's a compatibility issue. Files saved in this software save in a SCUT4 format. Save project as it goes to Sure Cuts a Lot 4. It will not open in Sure Cuts a Lot 3. So if people start sharing their designs in SCUT4, you're going to have a little bit of a problem trying to open these in SCUT3. So my recommendation, I know I asked somebody else this, is it worth upgrading to SCAL4 or eCal2? I say wholeheartedly, absolutely upgrade. If you're using an eClipse, it's worth the upgrade price. I think the upgrade is $19.99 from eCal1, and then for Sure Cuts a Lot from 3 to 4 if you're using one of the supported cutters and you really like to design in Sure Cuts a Lot, then you would want to upgrade too. For me, I'm not upgrading to Sure Cuts a Lot 4 because I do most of my cutting from Make the Cut. And if let me see if I have Make the Cut on here. I think I do. If you're using Make the Cut, I have too much on here. I can't see. There it is. Let's say there are over 11,000 designs in the Make the Cut gallery, and if I wanted to cut one of those to my eClipse, I thought I'd show you real quick that it's a very simple thing to use your eClipse with Make the Cut if that's your preferred software. So I see that there are over 11,700 designs ready to use in this gallery. So if I find a design that I want, let's say I want this deer, and I want to use it, first I unlock it because it won't let me select it. I'll unlock all, I'll select it, I go to File, Export, Selection to SVG, take it to my desktop as a deer, save, and I'm going to open Sure Cuts a Lot, and I just did this evening to make a, I'll just do a new page here. You go to File, Import, and All Readable Files, go to my desktop, and I should see the deer. I did a card today, worked great. So I don't really have to design in Sure Cuts a Lot or eCal in order to cut. So it's ready to cut. I can resize it, whatever, but it does come in exactly the right size. And let me zoom out to the page. So when I let's go to the page again. Click the selection arrow and put it up in the upper left corner, and it's ready to cut. I did a really quick card this way today, which I got from Silhouette Studio. And I saved it to an SVG, and I brought it in and just cut it out in a few minutes. I had a card. So whether you like to design in other software or not, you can still cut to the eClips. So I think it's a worthy machine. It doesn't handle the thicker materials than 1 millimeter. That's a limitation. And it won't cut the full 12 by 12, but otherwise it's good. So any other quick questions?
All right. Not seeing anything. Handmade card. She says, well, Kay here. She posted up a link to for scoring and stitching. So she said, thanks, Kay. So thanks, Kay, for posting that. Not seeing anything else for you, Julie, but I do want to thank you for coming on and sharing your wisdom with us, as well as your experience with so many cutters. So how many cutters are you up to right now?
I think
Does this
I'm
make
on
14?
13.
13, okay.
13, yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, lots of cutters, great tutorials. Check out the links that are in the sidebar here. Those are her affiliate links. Those give her credit for purchasing. So we're there letting you know that they are affiliate links and they do help out Julie earn a little bit of cash. For showing off all of this stuff.
Yeah, I might be able to one day get an iPad so I can use it with my Explorer.
Yeah, let's raise her some money there.
But thank you for having me. It has been fun.
Yeah, thank you, Julie. Thank you. All that bulb talk, got me thinking. Ken, don't you have some bulbs to show us?
Yeah, I've been on a little Christmas ornament crusade, so I made some M&M balls or bulbs, and then I just posted on my blog some Star Wars ones here, as you can see. So I kind of just discovered, I know it's been around forever, but I just discovered the whole glitter with mop and glow, so I'm kind of addicted now to putting these glitter in these bulbs and making fun stuff out of them. So super easy, but that the thing Julie showed would be nice to have. That's for sure.
Where'd you get those? Where'd you get those Star Wars little characters from? Was it an image you found?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Images. Yep. And then that's the nice thing is you can bring them into Design Space and stuff. But
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good deal. Michelle, you got some design team stuff to show? I think you got a project of your own, and you made a Kindle.
Yeah, I do have a project.
Okay. So we fired the design team. We only have one design this week, plus Michelle, so that makes two. Okay. So I think she's got some stuff to show us.
Well, you'll have to explain a little bit of it, too.
So that's a little Ken doll.
Yeah, this is a little Ken doll I made today.
As you can see, it matches his hair perfectly. And then click on the...
Yeah, this is the design from the Cricut Explore, and that was my mat after I removed all the paper. And there is the finished product.
That is a good looking doll. That's all I got to say. And that hair is perfect. Man, see, it takes a long time to get my hair just like that.
Yeah, we're coming out with another expansion pack. Hopefully, I'll have it out this weekend, and it's called, I call them Little Big Heads. Okay, so they're little bodies, big heads, and lots of hair and stuff. So be on the lookout for that. That's what we're going to be coming out with next.
Hey, Rob, where do you get those Legos behind you? Who made those? Those are pretty cool frames.
I know, man. My wife, she made those, and you can get those from the Scrap Factory. Scrap Factory made those. So those are expansion packs as well. And plus, Ken said that my wall looked plain, so I decided to jazz it up. I stole these from my little boy's room. I'll put them back a little later.
Oh, that's so sad.
I know. Now we did mention that there was the eCal software for the iPad, and I don't know if anyone's tried it out. I just bought it last night. I'm gonna see if I can actually show you guys that it looks exactly like looks just exactly like eCal2. So let me try to mirror my stuff here. I don't know if it's gonna work. We'll see. All right, and let me share. Now the bad thing about what I'm going to try to do here is you can't really see my fingers on where it's tapping, but I'll be able to point it. I should be able to point it out here to you. Let me share it on this screen. And Ken, you're going to have to let me know whether or not you see this or not. Ken or Michelle. All right, let me drag this up here. Are you guys able to see the iPad screen?
I see a lot of blackness.
Just black.
Oh, it's just black. I guess it may not work. Darn. I was really hoping that it would pick it up. Oh well. Well, I'm gonna try to make a video on it this weekend, and we'll see if we see if you guys can take a look at it, see what you guys think. Some of the things were kind of buggy, but then I also found out that some of it was my error. So we'll take a look at that later on. Looks like Michelle's got her screen up here. So what you got, Michelle?
Oh, I just wanted to let them know, last week we had a sponsor for our show. It was SVG Hut, and she offered our viewers a 25% off coupon code, and the coupon is still in effect. It's until December 20th, and the coupon code is Crafty Christmas. And if you go to my blog, Michelle My Bell Kreations, I'll put the link in the comment section as well. The giveaway, I have a giveaway going up, and it's still good until you have about 78 minutes left to enter. And she's also offering a $10 store certificate for her store. And these are some of the designs that these are just a few of the designs she has in her store. And you can see them on the blog there. Okay, she also has an Etsy store. So if you go to etsy.com/UK shop and then SVG Hut, and on the left-hand side you will see all the categories with the different types of files she has available. And these ones up here are her most recent ones. And you can see a lot of the designs here. It's just little houses.
Does Etsy automatically convert it to US dollars then?
I think you can select. Let's see, because I don't really shop that much on Etsy, but I think there's a way to select the currency. If I'm not mistaken, I could. I'm not sure because I don't really shop that much on Etsy.
Gotcha. Either do I. Need to.
Yeah, I'm not really familiar with it. So if anybody any of the viewers know, they could leave a comment. I'm not sure where it's at. But like I said, if you go to my blog, then you can enter the giveaway, and it'll be up for about 78 more minutes left. So
get it while you can. Get it while you can. All right. Yeah, not seeing any more comments or questions. Now there was a quick little basic question, and it was for the Cricut folks out there, and it's just a little beginner question. She brought in, you know, she found a photo that she wanted online, you know, and she imported it into the Design Space, and she carried with it the white background. So I asked Ken if he could show a quick, down and dirty little tutorial on how you can get an image that you find on the web, bring it into your Cricut Design Space real quick, and get rid of that white background so you can ungroup it and cut it. So, Ken, are you ready?
I sure am. So I will share my screen here. And so basically you can go to obviously start a new project here. If it will allow me, refresh my screen here. And basically the thing you got to keep in mind is, let's see here. When you're doing a basic upload, a vector upload, basically, and make, you know, if you are, depends on what kind of file you're uploading. But for example, if you are uploading a file that is not a PNG, so the background isn't already taken out, you're going to have to clean up that file. So for example, if I go to Google Images and I just look up a basic, for example, the Cricut guy here, and go to Images, and it brings up this here, these are going to have that white background. So for example, even if I just look at this, view image, and I save this to my desktop, and I'm going to want to then bring that into Design Space, it's going to bring in that entire thing. So, for example, I continue to step 1. I browse my desktop because that's where I saved it. There's that JPEG. And you continue to step 2. And as you can see right now, if you turn on this little eyeball here, you have a box around that because it doesn't distinguish the difference here. So you have these little tools here. One is this little magic wand, and all you have to do is anywhere of the images you don't want. So I don't want this white background. I just click that. And you also have this eraser. So if I don't want this TM down here, I can actually just erase that. And now if you go back and look, you have a line just around the Cricut there. The next thing is that a lot of people will always ask is, you also have this new thing ever since they did the upgrade, the print and cut, which is this box here. And this here will preserve original image within shape recommended for printing. So if you're ever going to want that file to be print and cut, you want to make sure that this is saved. Because if not, it's just going to save that cut file. It's not going to save, as you can see here, it's not going to save that. So once you've saved your images, you are able then to just select it and bring it in just like that. So super simple. That's one thing I loved about Cricut Design Space, and they've done a great job, is the process of bringing in images, especially for print and cut, has been a very simple process. So.
All right, pretty cool. Is the Cricut iPad app out yet, or is it?
No, that's not going to be released until January, the middle of January. So they, like anything else, Apple, and a lot of people don't realize, is anything in Apple has to get approved by Apple, and you're essentially just waiting in line until they review it and approve it. And I think that's probably where they're at in their planning stages. I don't know for sure, but it seems that that's, I mean, I've used the app as a beta tester, so have the other beta testers that have made some great videos around it, and I think it's an amazing app. It's just waiting for that approval process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw the demo that you guys did while I was away, and it looked pretty fast, pretty slick. Do you need internet in order for that to work, or?
Currently, at the initial release, yes, you will have to get onto an internet base to use it. The word from Cricut at this point is they will eventually, hopefully, release a offline version, and I know that's their hopes, but just like any company, they're only so big, so they can only do so much. So the first initial wave, you will have to connect to an internet to use it. But I will say it is super slick. It's very quick. When you bring in an image, it brings in your image really fast. And just like any other kind of app program, you're just using your fingers to move things around, to zoom it in. I'm really impressed with this app. They've done a great job designing it.
Yeah, it looked very snappy and very fluid. You know, and I was wondering if it was so fluid, because you didn't need to be online, but I guess you do need to be online. But maybe it's, I don't know. It just looked really cool. I was impressed.
Yeah, they've done a great job, like I said, making sure everything's simple and to the point. Their print and cut, they did the same thing on in this app. I really think that they have really stepped up. And the other thing that's I have to say I've been impressed over the last year with them is they've really delivered on the promises. They delivered on, you know, extending customer service hours. They've delivered on releasing a Disney Frozen cartridge, and now they're going to be releasing an app and the print and cut. So pretty much anything that they said that, hey, this is what we're doing for you guys, they've stuck by their word. So that's pretty impressive.
Good deal. All right, I'm going to check through comments, see if there's anything. I know that Handmade Card, she wanted to know the Julie special. What's Julie special? We got the link posted there for you. Also, I'll have to check this out. Kay also has posted that she has images to SVG page just for the Cricut Design Space on her blog, so go check that out as well. We'll post links to that in the video. That will be recorded here after we close out the on air. We'll put that in the description box so everyone can see it on YouTube as well. So, good deal. All right. I'm not seeing any more questions or comments. That's all we had for this week. Yeah, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channels. Make sure you get the newsletter at scrappydew.com/live. Sign up for that. That way you'll know when we're doing this. I know next week we may not do it. We may depends on scheduling and everything. We've got the Christmas holidays coming up, so we'll play it by ear. But the best way to know is sign up for those newsletters and let us know. Okay.
I posted the link in the comments section. That was early on before
Okay.
the show started, so
Yep.
it's there.
Right there in the event page.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you. So we'll see you guys next time. All right. Bye.